Last of the Dragonlords by Firesight 20, Chapter 7. Firesight groaned in pain as she slowly opened her eyes. All her senses came quickly back to her eyes as she adjusted to the low-lying room she was in. She got up from the floor and noticed with a glancing look that she had been lying in blood. Her own blood. She put a hope to her head and instantly flinched, her head screaming upon touch. She brought her hope down to see dried blood eyes. She grimaced and wiped it off on the floor. They looked around to see where she was. It was a small room, with a single but small window behind her. There was no bed to speak. Only hay was on the ground, with some of it was stained dark red from her blood. To her left was a wall of steel bars that separated her room from another, and her farther was a dark brown gate. It didn't take long to realize she was in a prison cell.
Probably got here after being captured by that horse,
she wondered. You know, Fluttershy, I just realized that if this was Tears of Gaia, it's threatened by an evil griffin by now. She turned towards the window and tried to spread her wings to fly out there and see where she was. But somehow she couldn't. Slowly behind her saw her wings were tied on her back by a strong, thick rope. She tried to bite it off, but found it to be too thick and too strong for her teeth. Then she noticed her hooves were tied loosely together, and her bracelet and sword was taken away. She tried to bite the bindings on her hooves off as well, but to no avail. She sat on her haunches and hung her head low and sighed. However, was glad that her friends weren't with her. They wouldn't be sharing her fate. Their part was devastating, so probably never find Firewing, and her friends would never know what happened to her. Ugh! Finally! You're awake. For a while I thought you were dead. A voice called out seemingly from the walls. First I darted her head about, looking for the speaker. When her eyes darted towards the other cell, she found the horse. A stallion, stepping out of the darkest corner and walked up to the barred wall. First I had a good look at him. He was a lot taller than her, about as high as Princess Celestia, maybe a little taller. And he had a darkest gray coat with pinkish scars dotted along his body. His mane went down to his shoulders and his tail down to his knees. It was almost a very silvery color, and he seemed to shine in the darkness. His eyes were dark blue, and his face had a long scar from his nose to his right eye.
Where am I?
Fleshlight asked him. You don't know? Fleshlight shook her head. Then it would be an honor, he said in a sarcastic tone, to welcome you to the finest city in Horska Andalusia. Fleshlight's eyes widened hard, and with good reason. The Andalusians were not as ferocious as they were reputed to be. What's your name? The horse asked. Fleshlight looked in the eyes and saw a comforting smile across his face. She had a feeling this horse couldn't be trusted.
I'm Fluttershy, she answered. What's yours?
Nice to meet you, Fluttershy, although it could be under better circumstances. I'm Throa. He reached out a hoof, just if it fit through the doors. Fluttershy put out hers and took his.
Nice to meet you too, Throa. And yes, it could have been better time,
she said, smiling half-heartedly. Ears suddenly picked up at the sounds of bells tolling, and her head darting out towards the window. What is this, a potato game? Oh! Throa heard too inside. Sounds like it is soon time, he said sadly. First I looked back at him.
Time for what?
Throa looked into her eyes and gave her a grim look. Do you Equestrians believe in afterlife, Fluttershy?
Well, yes.
Fluttershy answered, confused about the question.
We believe we go to a place that looks like ours, but it's perfect in every way. Why?
We call that G3. Throa raised an eyebrow at her. It didn't take long for Fluttershy to understand what he was replying. Her eyes widened as he glanced at her up.
Oh, I see,
she said, ears dropping flat onto her head. She looked down to the straw-covered ground, realizing today would be her last day on Terra. Throa nodded. Afraid so, he said quietly. Silence for a while, only for Fluttershy and Throa to gather their thoughts. Where did you come from? Throa asked, breaking their silence. Fluttershy raised her hand to face him.
I came from a town called Phonyville. Why?
She said again, slightly confused by the question. Throa smiled. A horse's last thought should be of his or her home. I came from a small village near the sea, called Baystone. Just the sound of hostess came from outside. Fluttershy went to the door and pressed her ear to the side. They overheard two horses speaking to each other. Are you sure this is the right decision, Captain? One horse, and clearly standing, said. Now, of course, I'm sure, Sergeant. That pony has intentionally trespassed across our borders. Like all equestrians before her were done so, she will die at the guillotine, along with that Pomonian scum. Another horse, Amir said. But don't you think that would cause a war with Equestria? You saw what she had on her leg. A bracelet with the seal of the ruler of Equestria herself. They discover. A Hufford hands is slamming into his open mouth out to Sergeant. Another word of objection, and you will be joining her. Do we understand each other? The captain said that simply. The sergeant only nodded. So you moved her hoof from her mouth. Good. And besides, that bracelet's already been destroyed. Now, once she's dead, take the body and head in the woods. Dump it there and leave it to the wolves. Now, get them outside, the captain ordered, as he briskly walked away. First, I backed away from the door and laid back down in the hay, waiting for it to open. When it did, the sergeant walked through and looked at her with sympathetic eyes. It was about the same size as straw, but with dark brown color and black mane tail and had brown eyes. Up, prisoner. It's time. On the side, Fluttershy walked over and waited for him to move out of the way. But then, leaned down, whispered in his ear. I'm sorry. I promise I'll try to get your body back to Equestria for burial.
Thank you,
she whispered, giving a half-hearted smile. The sergeant turned around, led Fluttershy through the prison, with Throw being pushed out by another horse behind her. She felt no fear as she walked down the spiraling stairs to her death. If there was one thing she was never afraid of in her lifetime, it was dying. At the orphanage, one of the carers taught her that death is a thing that we'll have to eventually experience. Sure, we cry and mourn the loss of a friend and loved one. That's normal, she used to say to her, but when you understand what I told you, then it will be less hard. First I remembered that and stood by. Her only regret was she wouldn't be able to say goodbye to her friends. She was led towards a small back door with a horse's head in the front. One was green and his head was low, as if going to charge. The sergeant opened the door and the sunlight blinded her. Get going! The horse behind her bellowed and pushed her forward. She nearly tripped, but was caught by the sergeant. Her eyes quickly readjusted to the bright light. She wanted with her head held high outside. The air was cold. A small wind that crept around Fluttershy's body, crawled up her spine to the back of her neck. At first, she thought it'd be her nerves trying to get the best of her, but her confidence side took over, allowing her to keep wrinkled posture, as she was led out towards the door, or towards a structure of some sort. It was a raised wooden platform. It was on a wooden structure that had a tall, upright frame. At the top was a curved blade, held up by a rope. Below the blade was a block for a head to lie on. Although she couldn't see, she could hear the cries of the horses from the other side of the platform. Move up, prisoner. Nice and easy, the sergeant said. Fluttershy complied, took a few small steps to the stairs to the guillotine. She was gently moved to the side of the stairs, as Throw was forcibly pushed up and placed next to her. In front of her was a mixture of horses, young and old, rich and poor, to watch with glee and good cheer two equines die. First I looked at the ground. The scats fizzled in her eyes that they considered entertainment. She could see well in the sergeant's eyes that he didn't like this. To the left stood a horse that was covered in black, and wore a black mask to cover his face. Next to him was a rope that held the blade up. The crowd grew silent when another horse appeared. She was fully armored in silver armor, and had a weapon scabbard on her side. It was obvious to Fluttershy that this horse was the sergeant was talking to earlier. Citizens of Andalusia, she called to the crowd. True sons and daughters of Oscar. This raised a few cheers for the crowd. She raised her hope to silence them. Today, we will see the death of two characters on this world. For one is a follower of the false ruler, part of a blood on this beautiful land that will be cleansed in blood. She paused and waited for the cheers to die down. The other is an equestrian. This raised a few whispers. A weak opponent who will die today for her ignorance, instead of staying in a pathetic home. She looked back at both and sneered at him. True Andalusian justice will be done today, as these two heads will be added to the walls. This again met with cheers and applause. Now first, the equestrian, I got to say, grinning all the while. Sergeant nodded and looked at Fluttershy. Move to the block, prisoner! Firefly raised her hand and plucked out her chest. She walked slowly towards the block, eyes staring straight at the block and not at the crowd's frightful, accusing gaze. When she reached it, she lowered herself down so her head and neck were within range of a small wicker basket on the other side of the guillotine. Lay your head on one side, pony, the executioner whispered. It'll be quicker. Firefly moved her head so she was facing led towards the mountains, separating her from her home and her friends. All the while remembering what Thora told her a moment ago.
Goodbye, Rainbow, Twilight, Applejack, Pinky, Rarity. I'm sorry,
she whispered, hoping they would somehow hear. She closed her eyes and breathed a sigh of content, and the entire world went quiet. Candace sneered, then turned to face the executioner to give out the order. But then she let out a terrifying, high-pitched scream. Flashlight opened her eyes to see that the world was now on fire. How about yours? She felt the pinings, wings, and legs burn off. She looked up, with wide eyes saw the rope, was held a blade above her about to snap. She quickly dashed her head away from the block and rolled out of the way. The blade came down a second layer, chopping only the air. She got up and looked around. The first thing she noticed was the captain's charred and smoldering body, as well as the executioner and sergeants, but no sign of Troas. She looked away and towards the now the burning city, horrified that such a thing could have happened, wanting to know who or what could have caused this. She had an idea, but she was wrong. Her eyes wide and hard when she locked eyes on the culprit, and her worst eyes were confirmed. A dragon, larger than the one that attacked Ponyville, with a deafening roar, fished his claws, soared low over the city and breathed fire down at screaming citizens as they tried to run for cover. Soldiers assaulted the ramparts and high towers tried shooting crossbow bolts at it, only to find themselves with the sharp end of its claws and teeth. First I realized that although she could help stop it, she reckoned she wouldn't have another chance of life like now. She jumped off the burning platform, was collapsed behind her. She ran through the corpses that littered the courtyard. Her eyes stayed focused in front of her and never looked down, lest her eyes see the gleaming, mangled forms of the dead horses lying there. The city became a death zone. Every building was a massive flame, and every street was now littered with dead horses, mares, and stallions, young and old. Flashlight darted through the burning streets and looked around for an exit. She considered flying out, but realized that his dragon would probably pick her off as she flew over the walls. She instantly crouched low when she heard the dragon roar overhead, its dark shadow passing below her, and its great form blocking out the sun. It soared into the sky to dive back down, disappearing behind some buildings. Screams and cries came from the second layer. She paid so much attention on where the dragon was going, she didn't notice she bumped into Throa. He looked at her with mouth agape and wide eyes. She didn't notice her saddlebags on his back. How did you possibly? He stammered, but was cut off by Fluttershy.
it's right there. Now, run!
She screamed down. Throa shook his head, broke out his daze and ran. Fluttershy close behind. This way! He called to Fluttershy, darting down narrow alleyways towards the northern wall. He ran quickly through the narrow streets of burning buildings that made up Andalusia. It was glad to see Fluttershy trailing behind. Groaned and ran back to the Pegasus hunter on his back. Now hold on tight! He cried. Fluttershy nodded, flung her forelegs around Throa's neck. Throa reared up and broke into a gallop. Fluttershy couldn't help but be awed by Throa's speed. Seeing one pony go as fast as he was going, that was Rainbow Dash. The Cyan Pegasus had the advantage she could fly. On the ground between these two, Rainbow wouldn't stand a chance. He was veering with perfect timing around street corners without even slowing down. She looked at herself to see a guard running for her dragon, only for it to catch one of his hind legs and drag him away. While the horse screamed for help, they passed soldiers, rallying others to defense, and some of them fired crossbow bolts from their legs. One ran up to a tree to his side, smashing a sword in his mouth, but his dragon picked him up in his mouth and devoured him. He noticed Fluttershy and Throa making a break for it and roared. It took off in the air with great speed, landed in front of Fluttershy and Throa, and reared up and kicked his forelegs out. Back you devil! He yelled. The dragon narrowed his burning eyes and stared straight through Throa, leaving the Pegasus on his back, buried her face in Throa's long mane. The dragon reared his head back, and literally was about to bring its fiery breath onto them. Fluttershy darted ahead and licked her way out. She spied to her left a small opening in about 7 burnt buildings.
Go left!
she shrieked. Dragonlords led saw the opening. It was Smirk. He darted towards the opening, getting out of the way of the dragon's fire attack. Was claimed another horse. Somewhere in a burning timber from the house and found an opening in the wall. He ran and jumped once more over the glass battlement that was part of the city. Phew! The two Inklings breathed a silent relief as they landed on the grasslands. They were interrupted when a roar thundered across the landscape. He looked back to see a dragon soar back into the sky and continue its attack on the city. We're not out of this yet, Zoro said. They broke into a gallop. First, I clung on for dear life as they rode down the hill for the burning city. Zoro spotted a cave and feared there. As he ran to the cave, Fluttershy got off Zoro's back. Both had a moment to breathe. Zoro coughing the smoke out of his lungs.
Thank you,
Fluttershy said once he got her breath back.
I don't think I would have gotten out alive.
Zoro went down and smiled. That's all right. It's the least I could do for you once you got there in the first place. Fluttershy blinked.
What?
Zoro ignored her. Stay there. I'm going to check outside. He tried outside and disappeared from view. For a few seconds, Fluttershy was alone. She could still hear the screams of horses in the city. Dragons swore as they continued his ruthless attack, so he continued to cover their ears to deafen them. Zoro returned later, with a haunted expression on his face. He sat down on the opposite of Fluttershy and had his head on low, still not facing the Pegasus. I've never seen such carnage. Yeah, he said quietly. I've never seen a single horse leap yet, so I can assume we're the only survivors. I just can't believe dragons are real. First I looked at him with concerned and expressive eyes.
You never seen a dragon before?
Zoro looked at her with sad eyes and shook his head. Have you? First I nodded.
Well, yes. Dragons are commonplace in Equestria. Well, as a friend, actually.
She noticed a suspicious look in Zoro's eyes and quickly added,
But never attack anyone unless it's self-defense. A dragon from Equestria would never do such a thing. We've killed so many.
Zoro's suspicious look faded and he smiled. Okay, I believe you. A silence came between the two. Do you know where it came from, then? The horse asked her.
No, I don't. Sorry.
She said, lowering her head to the ground. Don't be, Zoro said. If anything, I should be sorry. First I looked at her head and looked back at him.
Why should you be sorry?
Zoro bit his lower lip and sighed, began to tell a story. Last night, I was on a scouting mission for my jar. I was with two others when we managed to see what was going on in the region. Fortunately, we were found and both my friends were killed. I managed to escape, but the soldiers were all over the area. I was physically caught and brought in the back of the cart. A moment later, your cousin's body was thrown on board, and we were taken to the city. He paused. His ears drooping, he went to the ground. It wasn't for me and my carelessness. You would have been saved in a way. So, I'm sorry. Waiting anxiously for a reply, but nothing came. Looked at the fireside staring at with warm and loving eyes.
It wasn't your fault, she said. How can you know I was there anyway? You have nothing to be given for.
Zoro smiled and nodded his thanks to her. So, he changed the subject to the Pegasus. What brings you to horse guy? No offense, but you don't look like an adventurous pony. First I giggled. For the first time in ages, it seemed to her.
Not taken. You're right, though. I'm not one for adventure or excitement, really. But I'm looking for a pony that came into Harska. Named Firewing?
Zoro's eyes widened in bewilderment. You know Firewing? Fluttershy shook her head.
Not personally, but I need to speak to him about something important.
She paused to realize Zoro's reaction.
You know him?
Yeah, the Silvermane horse responded. He came to Castilian about 3 weeks ago. Left after a couple of days to travel the country. He was a good pony and wise beyond his years. Where he is now, I can't say. I'm afraid I might. Silence they came into the world. Sounds of screaming to fade away from them. Zoro stepped out of the cave and watched it fly off to the east. It's all clear! The dragon's going away, he called to Fluttershy. Now Pegasus tried out of the cave and stood next to the Silvermane horse. Once again, the great beast flew out of sight. Oh, by the way, these are yours. Just as his head to the saddlebags that were on his back. Fluttershy's eyes widened.
Where did you get these?
She tucked up his nuts from his back. I found him in a case inside the prison with the dragon attached. When I got away, I went to see if I could find your stuff in mine. Fortunately for me, I could only find yours. I thought you were dead, so I was going to return these to Equestria, he said.
Oh, thank you,
She said quietly. At first, she thought he might be stealing them, She opened the bags to find all her stuff untouched. Even her sword bracelet was in there. Sadly, though, the bracelet given to her by the princess wasn't, as it was already destroyed. She put it away and put the bags on her back, and turned to look to Siri in front of her. When she first came to Horska, she wanted to get through quickly and breathe later. But now she felt she was safe and had time to stand and stare. She felt her breath being taken away from her. The day was a bright day. Large white clouds around the mountain tops. Rows and rows of woodland stretched down the hill. Different kinds of wildlife around them. Birds, butterflies, and fireflies and salmon. Rabbits were hopping out hiding, hopping across the grass to eat. To her right, Fluttershy could see a small stream leading down the narrow stone road that led to the hill out of sight, while behind her the sky was black with smoke from the fires of Andalusia. But apart from the cackles and blazes, the city was silent. Zora looked at the stunned Pegasus and noticed the dried blood on her mane. "Here, let me have a look at that," he said. He knelt down and gently pressed Fluttershy's mane away with a hoof. Crimson saw the wound. "You were looking not to have been killed." He moved his hoof and pressed it gently into Fluttershy, turned her head and knelt. Zora grimaced once more and apologized. "Come on. We need you to get to Castilian right away."
Will I get there today?
"Maybe not if you were on your own, but I'm the fastest horse at Horska. I can get you there where the sun goes down." Around his stomach, he tested Fluttershy to climb on. With the help of her wings, Fluttershy jumped up and landed on his back, wrapping her forelegs around Zora's neck. "Ready?"
Yes.
Fluttershy answered. She never above a whisper, but Zora heard her. With a great cry against the sky, he got up and started running, even faster than he did in the sea behind him.